Oops. Well, that was fun. Oh, I got my background open. So new at this, sorry guys, gals, and whatever else. Pay attention to the junk behind the curtain. It is. It's a rough start, guys. Hey, we can see. All right. So here we are today. Welcome, everybody. What are we fixing today? It's not the pixel heads. The pixel heads are going to be here Friday and Saturday on DrZz's channel. Today it's me. If you don't know me, I am Sir Good Enough. I'm also called Jim, like SG. The channel is What Are We Fixing Today? I've been doing this for the last 4+ years since I retired. So welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. If you hang around to the end, I am giving away, if I can find them, I'm giving away some stickers. So if you want a sticker, hang around to the end. We're going to have a drawing for stickers. See how that goes. We're going to be talking today about blueprints. Now, I volunteer a lot on the Home Assistant community, in the forums, and in the Discord. I don't think Facebook exists, so I don't look at Facebook. It confuses me, and it offends me, and I don't like it. So we don't do that one, but we do the other two. Help out here and there. And I also have written a bunch of blueprints for the community. So I've had requests from some of my people that are, I'll call them customers. They don't pay me, but I mean, they're allowed to pay me. You know, there's a coffee link, but that doesn't happen very often. Anyway, my customers, I've asked, oh, well, can you show how you do blueprints? Can you show how you make this cube thing work? I don't understand. There's a lot of stuff going on there. It's busy, and I don't know. So we're going to go over blueprints a little bit on how to make one. And then we're going to go over some of the ones that I have written for the community, in case somebody wants to know. And we also got something from Rudy here. Now, viewers from DrZz's know Rudy from years ago. Rudy would give DrZz stuff, and he would announce it on the stream and show you what was going on and all that. Rudy has set something up with me, so now I have a thing from Rudy. It's and I have a coupon code, so we're gonna start with that. What do you think? Anybody have any questions or anything? The chat's open. I can see the chat. Hopefully that's the chat. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, whoever you are. Now, we're going to get started with the Rudy thing. What's that? Well, first of all, Rudy is now representing a company called Ranvee. This is a link to Ranvee. I will drop the link in the chat here for you. They have a bunch of cool stuff. And if you guys want to look through here, where's the link? Yeah, I'm looking up. We'll get better at this as we go, right? That's the link to the Ranvee site. That site has a bunch of stuff that Rudy is offering for sale. There is some specials going on now, and one of them happens to be what we're going to look at today, this camera. This camera is listed for 25 bucks on special, and guess what? I got a coupon. It's cheaper than that. It's 18 bucks. So if you're interested in that camera, we're going to go over it a little bit here. The full link to the camera is here. A little more detail on it. 1920 by 1080, night, wide angle. Recording 32 to 128 gig SD card. I have a 16 gig in this one right now. It's on Type C. Ships from China. More details. There's a video about it. Here is a picture. There we go. That's what the back looks like. We'll show you more of that. There should be more info. Down here, maybe. More pictures. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, buy it from here. Drop the... Oh, that's the same link I just dropped. Sorry. We'll see if this link makes it as kind of long. There's the link. Looks like it made it. And to add on top of that, here is the coupon code. Dropped it in the chat. The coupon code brings it down to about 18 bucks. We're going to do some playing with it here. Oh, yeah. No. No, I didn't ask you to do that. Yeah, I know. I kind of drop some stuff once in a while. Makes it hard to deal. All right. That's that stuff. Now, let's look at the bench. Camera is on a whack. Of course it is. Why would I have checked that beforehand? I don't know. I need a checklist. Anybody else out there do streaming? Do you have a checklist? I bet you I need a checklist. Check the camera, check the links, check that you got the darn thumbnail right. All that stuff is stuff. Anyway, here it is. Here's the little bugger. Looked pretty nice to me. I'm gonna try it out for a while, I think. And you know, or I might just do something else with it here. We'll see. One thing it wants you to do, and I've prepared this ahead of time, believe me or not, is I need to run from this. The Go Look app. The Go Look app is what you look at to run the thing. All right. Now, still, you know what? Thing is, I'm looking this way at the stuff, even though the stuff for you is over there. Trust me. I don't really like doing the reverse thing that DrZzs is doing currently. No thank you. Versus nobody. So this is what the box looks like. Kind of a no name kind of thing, I think. X19S. Standard stuff, made in China, all the box stuff. Anyway, I have set up a power supply here. Here's the cable that comes with it. It appears to be fused. And the way you hook it up is pretty simple. There's a black wire. It says on it ground, and it goes to ground. There's a red wire. It says accessory, it goes to accessory. There's a yellow wire. It says B+, goes to B+. But I think what they're saying is a power when you turn the car on goes to here. And a power when you want the camera on goes to here, I think. Not exactly certain. But I know if you want to do stuff, you hook both of these up to power. The way they did this is pretty cool too, I think. These are fuses that you can stick into your car. So you pull out a fuse and put this in, and then this will tap off of that. Interesting, right? It's ground, and the red fell off. I need to get this a little more stable. If anybody wants to donate something to the channel, I could use some test leads with clips. I haven't got much of that. I got a power supply with banana jacks. I got not too many banana jacks to plug into it. Maybe I can find another. There's another clippy. We're gonna go also to power. The ground is out of the way there, so we don't have magic smoke. Here's the other power 1. Bring this one into power 2. Power also. These two plugs are going to the same thing, to the B+ of the battery, a 12-volt battery. This is going to the ground. Plug this in. Turn on the power. Has a little screen on the back. You can hear it. Be synchronized with the time. Doesn't like that SD card. Let's pull the SD card out. Didn't like it. Maybe it has to be at least a 32. SD card error. Well, I don't like that card. I don't have another one here. I know. I'll restart. No SD card? Yes, I know that. Well, I have the app. Well, you have to put in a memory card too. Oh boy. So it says bad card. Bad card. Bad card. Hi, Chris. How you doing? So let's go to this app. Go G. See the EFG. Go look. Go look app. Add device. Sure. Using the app. Allow. No camera detected. Click the button on the upper right corner and go to system settings to check Wi-Fi options. Okay. There is a thing. So we're going to look at the user. Blah, blah, blah. Specs, installation. Default password 12345678. How original. Obviously, that's the password. So make sure that you change that. We're not going to change it today. Like only this time. Now I'm connected to it. Okay, now we're going to be in the app. Connecting device. There it is. There's the camera. There's all my junk. You see, you'd think in that mess there'd be a test lead somewhere, and you know what? There probably is. I'm running 14 volts into it. And stuff. So the idea is you kind of mount this somewhere in your windshield, look out the front. Oh, we can make it look better too, I think. Ready? I need music for this. Okay, so much for that. Now it's not blue. Now it's white. Okay. So basically that's, the phone is set to Wi-Fi into it. It's set to the AP of this thing. Okay. And it's kind of a battle between the phone app and that. And I don't have an SD card in it. Well, I have one in it, but it doesn't like it. You know. So you can kind of, when I looked in the directions, it says, you know, if you're running along and you, like somebody cuts you off or you want to save some of the video for something, then you push this button on the side, I think. I don't know. Hold this button on the side. I don't know. It records it or something. Well, now you can see. You can't see it. You can see it. The screen showing what the video sees, too. So That's a little camera for 18 bucks. Use the coupon code. Go with Rudy. Check it out. Rudy's a good guy. He has his heart in the right place. Also, if interested, take a look at the Ranvee link that I gave you in the chat. And if there's something in there that you want me to review and look at and try out, maybe even give away on the channel. I'd like to keep the value down because I don't know what Rudy's going to give me yet. I have no idea, right? We're still new at this, so we're going to start slow. So it'd have to be something under 50 bucks that I'd ask for sure. Don't ask for a laser. We're way too small for that. Not enough viewers, man. So, yeah, take a look. If there's something small in there you want to look at, want to demo, maybe give away on the stream, we can make that happen. I think this one I'm going to try for a little while. Maybe I'll decide to give it away another day, but I'm not going to give it away today. I only have 1 or 2 viewers, so I'm not going to just give it to the 1 or 2 viewers. If I had 20 viewers, I'd probably give it away today. But hey, guys, if you want stuff, you got to watch. That's the way it goes. All right. Thank you, Rudy Stuff. I did play with the audio, and Chris, I see you're out there. I think I fixed the echo. I figured it out. Something I was doing that I probably shouldn't have been doing. So I think I got the echo gone. I was playing with stuff. And I think for Friday, we're going to be good for the echo. I might even be able to talk. Let's move that over there. Keep this in the corner of the picture. Because we're going to be playing with this later. Ooh. All right, come on. Anyway, I love my cubes. I don't use them as much as I should. I used to use them a lot more. But, lately this one was out to lunch. The battery died and I had to reattach it to the system. So, had me annoyed for a while. But, sometimes cubes multiply. That's the way it goes. Let's start with blueprints, huh? Blueprints. What is a blueprint? I should bring that up. Let me see. A blueprint. Come on. New screen. Nope. This is a screen. Is a piece of YAML, and so Home Assistant. If you don't know what Home Assistant is, I do a lot of Home Assistant stuff. It's a program that will integrate most anything to most anything. There are exceptions. Some things don't work well. Some things work better than others. It's an open source program. The program is owned by the Home Assistant Foundation or something. What's it called? I think it's there's a nonprofit that owns the program Home Assistant, and they did that so that it can't be sold or whatever. There's another company called Nabukasa, which was formed and also works for the foundation. But they are a private company. They sell subscriptions to Home Assistant, and they do the center development for the project. But there are probably maybe 100, maybe 50 or 100 developers that are private volunteers to every one developer that's a Home Assistant Nabukasa employee. So The non-broadcast employees tend to gel the community, guide the community in directions that they want the project to go. But most everything comes from community members. So if you have some chops with software, Python, some other stuff, and you have a gadget that you want to make work in your home, put some time into it, take a look at what Home Assistant needs, make yourself a custom integration, put it on GitHub, and you can get people to plug it in and try it and make it work. Once you make it work good enough, you can decide, well, I don't want to futz with the HA core. Or you can say, oh, well, let's put it into core so that everybody gets a shot at this. And then you got some more maintenance to do, but you can be a larger part of the community. It's awesome. Everybody that volunteers is awesome. If you're like me and you don't have software chops to do custom integrations, themes, major things that get dropped into core, I am more at the level of the automations and scripts and templates that are used by the community to make all the integrations in Home Assistant dance. Blueprints are a way for someone like me who kind of knows YAML, kind of knows some stuff, and is able to make things work for myself, but then be able to pass that on and let somebody else pretty easily use it. The blueprint, basically what the blueprint user sees is a list of questions. I want to, it's and directions, and it'll say, well, we can go over one, but basically the blueprint asks the end user, it says, well, I'm a blueprint that does this. I need to know this entity. I need to know how long you want to wait. I need to know who to wake up. I need to, so it asked a bunch of questions. The questions provide data that the blueprint ingests and then acts on. This right now is being run by a blueprint. And the reason why you would do something like this with a blueprint, oops, turn the light off again. This cube has over 100 functions. Yeah, so tapping, shaking, turning. I can change my brightness. Change my brightness on my thing. Turning it. I can, like here, I got this one set. Go to the red side, and I can make my face look more red, I believe. This is kind of a soft surface. It doesn't work as well. Well, let's try blue. No. So that's still working. Reset. Green. Well, it's turning down to green. Turn up to green. It's actually turning up the brightness. Oh. There it's adjusting the blue. But you can see how I got some different things in here to make me look weird. If I want. Reset. Back to the normal color. But that's just running 2 LED lights in my studio here. So all you as a user need to know is, okay, I want to do this. Here's a pre-canned script that SG came up with. I want to run that light. And all you got to do is wiggle your hands and make things happen. So let's go over let's build a blueprint. How's that? Let's start with that. Building a blueprint over here. So right now I have, so how you build a blueprint. Some people get caught up on this. They get confused. They get all kinds of problems, right? They all think it's hard, but you know what? It's not. What I have is, by looking automations. Oh, switch screens. All right. Looking for automations down here. Here, this thing I have selected is an automation. I created this automation the other day. Funny story with this. I created a sonic screwdriver. If you're a Doctor Who fan, it keeps away evil enemies. Anyway, what it is when we go for trips to our cottage up north, we're gone from here for a week. During that week, literally, the mice say, hey, there's nobody here. Let's come and do things, right? Or overnight sometimes, let's do things. Let's go find some candy and eat it and stuff like that. So we bought this little box. Basically, it's a high-frequency beeper. And it's apparently pretty darn loud. However, my wife and I, we don't hear it. So, hey, this is perfect. We don't have pets to bother. That's great. So, plugged it in, turned it on. Never made another thought about it. During Thanksgiving, the grandkids came over. And one of them saying, oh, what is that noise? About every 3 seconds it's going beep. It's making me crazy. And we're like, okay. Her mom is like, okay. Her older sister's like, I don't know. Maybe I hear something. I don't think so. The younger sister was like, I don't pay attention to nothing, so I don't know. But the middle one, who's like 10, she wasn't having it. And we're like, I was feeling bad. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to shut off. I didn't know what was going on. And then after they left, I was thinking, oh, where is that thing? We got one of those things somewhere. I bet you she's hearing that. I knew I had one over by my desk downstairs. That one wasn't working. Well, so I'm like, okay, so I brought up my phone. I brought up an audio analyzer. Turned it on. And there it was, every 3 seconds. Beep, beep, right around 20 kHz. Big, loud, noisy. I'm like, well, Juliet, we found it. I walked around the house with the phone until I went, oh, there it is. It's sitting right there on the desk, right where she wasn't even close to it. She was in another room from it, but she was still getting bothered by it. So we're like, okay, darling, we found it. You can come over and you don't have to have a headache when you leave. we found it. But I'm like, okay, I still want this thing to do things because it seems to be keeping out the little critters. They don't seem to show up since I plugged that in. So I put in a Zigbee through third reality outlet, and I tied it to the light above my wife's, where my wife sits, the living room light. So when the living room light is off, the beeper goes on. If we have company, that living room light is always on. It's always on all day, right? At night, it goes off. And at night, when it gets quiet, that's when the critters will want to try to come out when there's nobody making noise. So I call it the sonic screwdriver. Anyway, I went on long there. I just made a simple automation using the UI editor to make a point. And this is a simple automation. I set up the trigger for when mom's light goes to off for at least 2 minutes. I call that action wax on. That's an ID. We'll see that later, probably. Or when mom's light goes on for 2 minutes, and I'm calling that one wax off. So she turns the light on 2 minutes later, this gets triggered. She turns the light off 2 minutes later, this gets triggered. And what happens? There's no conditions. I don't have any timer on it or anything. I just wanted to do it every time that the light changes state. And I need to know what state it changes to. That's what the on and off is for. When this is triggered, the actions are, the first one is to choose a condition. This condition is trigger ID wax on. So trigger ID wax on is this trigger. So when the light goes to off, it should turn on the wax, turn on the light. It does a switch turn on of the sonic screwdriver, which is the 3R plug that I did, right? Then, if there is any other kind of trigger here, a weird trigger, an unconnected, weird turning it on from Home Assistant, any kind of any other kind of trigger other than light going off, it will do the default action, which is turn off the sonic screwdriver. So when mom comes in the morning, she turns on her light, the sonic screwdriver goes off. We never hear it because we're old and our ears are, we listen to too much music, I guess. But the 10-year-old was right in the sweet spot. The 8-year-old was like not paying attention. I'm pretty sure she could probably hear it, but it wasn't bothering her. And the 16-year-old was like, I think I hear it. And their mom, which is, I'm not going to say, and my wife and I, which are in our 60s, didn't hear a bloody thing. That's the way it goes. So anyway, that's the automation. And we're going to turn this automation into a blueprint. So back to blueprints. When you're going to make a blueprint, you start with an automation that works. You know it works. Test it. Make sure it works. If it's a blueprint that you want to do that has a variety of inputs and a variety of outputs, take one test case and make the automation with the one test case. Say, whenever I open any of the doors, I do a certain thing. Well, start with opening one door and doing one thing. And make that blueprint, make that automation work. Make sure it works. Test it. Once it works, then your blueprint becomes a lot easier because then all you're adding is inputs. And inputs are what the user adds in the end. It's like, I forget what you call it, but if you do, I don't know. I don't do code. But it's like you're making a blueprint that you add stuff to. It's a class. Class-ish. It's a, I don't know. I can use words, but I'll just confuse you. So let's go over here. This is the base for the blueprint. These things are all things that you need. I'm going to make an automation blueprint. You can make one for scripts. You can make one for templates, but the templates ones are still a work in progress. That will improve. There's a lot of work to do with template blueprints, but they are started, and there will be people like me who want to share blueprints that are for templates. Templates are hard for people. They're hard for me, but I'm willing to go through and figure them out and make things work for people and do some templates that can help people out. Anyway, so we're going to start with this. Blueprint name, and that stuff. So this here in behind the hidden commented text, this is the actual automation that we saw up there. I just copied it down here. So I'm going to make this uncommented. All right. And this red background program here, this is Code Server, VS Code. I use Home Assistant Supervise, HAOS, Home Assistant Operating System. And it has add-ons, and I'm using the Code Server add-on. If you have any questions for any of that, just ask. I'll see what I can answer. But it works well for me. So let's start with name domain automation input. So let's start with, okay, so here we got triggers, right? I could take this trigger and I can load it right in there. I can load these triggers right in there. I'm just going to cut it out of here, paste it in here. Text coding there. Don't. All right. There's my triggers. They will work exactly right from the automation. Now, what I'm going to do for inputs is I'm going to change this to an input right here, this entity ID. So that will change in a few minutes. But we're going to now go into actions. And guess what? To choose action, and actually the mode, that could go right in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete some stuff. Now you're going to move it. I'm going to go from here, delete it right up to there. Nope, too much. Take out mode, right up to there. All right. So my actions are the same too. This needs to move over. So now I have an automation that looks exactly like I have a blueprint that looks exactly like my automation. And guess what? It'll work. There just won't be any inputs. So an automation blueprint is an automation. But you have these right here. Inputs are things that the user has access to when they set up their blueprint to use. So we're going to say I'm going to call it no, lowercase chase on this. So T light. So my first input is going to be called T light, trigger light. All right. And let me get the format on what I need to do for an input. is just an input that I have done already. So just grab one of the selectors that are already out here. Condition. Those are all action ones. Let me find something else. I need a device one. So let's go to this. Entity. Right here. So I'm just going to copy this. Where is my code? All right, disappeared. Don't know why. Here. This is my using it as a template, right? So get rid of this first line. Get rid of this second line. Tab this stuff over. Shift tab. So now I just need to change what it is. It's going to be called, and this can be an actual friendly name here, right? So light the trigger on. Actually, make it shorter. Oops. You'll find that I'm not the greatest typer in the world. And to light the trigger on. Selector, entity, multiple faults. So, and I could add in here filters to make sure it's a light, but I don't care. It could be a switch. Could be something else. So I can do it though. I have to look at the, see, that's another thing. For me, memory is always an issue. So I need to always look stuff up, almost always. Let me look at a blueprint. That. Yeah, door open, I think. As a filter. Yeah. Filter, domain. Copy. Right. Shift this over. Light. So now it'll go around. It'll have an input called T-light internally in the code. On the user screen, it'll say trigger light, and the description, enter the light to trigger on, and it will bring up a list of lights for you to select one of. Okay. Then in order to use this, all I got to do is say input. How do we do that? Again, memory. Put, oh yeah. Input in the name. Okay. There it is. Input in the name, and the name is T-Light. So copy, and then down here for this other trigger, Control V. So now when the user gets this, they'll be able to put in their own light, and their own light will be saved in a variable called T-Light, and then the trigger will look at T-Light to see if it goes on or off. See how that works? What else we need to know? We need to know this switch, right? So we need another switch. So I'm going to copy this. We'll call that controlled. So now we're making a input for the thing that we're going to control. I'm just going to make sure it's a switch. So now obviously I want to make this cleaner. Controlled switch. I can have space in there. I can have capitals. That's fine for that name. This one up here has to be OLLED. It has to be, there's a name you can make up here, but it needs to be lowercase with underscores between, lowercase chase. Numbers are okay, but can't start with a number. So YAML has a lot of rules. This is why somebody who does it all the time has a better chance of making something that other people could then just, okay, I don't need to know. I'm just going to use this thing. Anybody else? Anybody having any questions out there? How are we doing? My chat says you are still around. There we go. So now I have an input for the trigger light, and I have an input for the controlled thing. This domain changes switch. We're going to look at switches to pick from. And we're only going to pick one. We're not going to do multiple. You can make your life complicated and do multiples. That's a little more advanced. We're just sticking with the basics here today. So, controlled is what we're going to do. We're going to have, if the condition is wax on, switch turn on, and the entity ID is, guess what? Input controlled. And here, we can get paste to work. Input controlled. So this basically makes this thing kind of generic, right? It says Blueprint, ask the customer what light they want to trigger from, and ask them what they want to control. Okay. And then do the same things that I was doing here. So I am in VS Code in order to make this available so that I can test it. I need to reload automations. So I'm going to do up in the space up here, I'm going to do right click, drag it down to command palette. And I could type in reload or automations or whatever on this top line here. Can you see that? Yeah. See that top line, I think? Yep. But I've already reloaded automations recently. Once you do it, it stays in here until there's some kind of a flush of the system or restart of the application. So I'm just going to do reload automations because I'm doing a automation blueprint. Reloading automations also reloads the blueprints for automations. I got this here. If there's an error, there will be an error in the log. But I'm going to go there. And now we're going to try to run this, huh? See if we can find it. Oh, let's go over here. Open another window. This is my cube here, you can see. I can make things change. Anyway. All right, that's not what I wanted. Well, this is what I want. Settings, base. Now I want to go to blueprints right here. And scroll down. What did I call this? Remember? Party is over rodent. That's an automation. That's the base automation, right? Oh, here. We'll do create automation. And we look for the automation, look for the blueprint that we just made. What did I call it? Test blueprint right here. Click on this, and it brings it up. And here are the two inputs. right? So click here. This should be a list of lights. So let's say the light behind me. Mom office, light group mom office. There are lights behind me. When that goes on or off, we're going to change something. And what are we going to change? Click over here in the switch. What do we want to turn on and off? Something we can hear, right? Let's try. Vacuum sealer switch. I'm guessing switch dot on off the S40 light. I'm thinking that's it. Well, let's see. And then do save. Call it Stuff and Things. Save. Now, yeah, Omar, this you make a blueprint. I mean, if you got a working automation, like I said, it's pretty easy to plug in the inputs and away you go. It gets more complicated the more complicated the automation is, granted. When you have multiple inputs to do multiple outputs, it gets a little more hairy, but so does the automation. If your base automation is working, though, you don't have to worry about, okay, when I start this and it didn't work, is it the automation or is it the inputs? If you start with a working automation, you are pretty confident that it's the inputs that have a problem, right? And it's always a template. It's always a template. It's always a template. So now I've created a YT135 test blueprint. No, I've created a test BP. I've created an automation that says that. So now let's go to automations. Now, it's probably at the end because it's YT, right? That was the idea. Okay, where'd it go? Not what I wanted. There it is. Why is everything highlighted? I don't know. Those things are weird. Because it is what it is. But there's what the automation looks like. Why is it all highlighted? It's brave. Anyway, all I really got to do is turn on the light the other end of the room. So let's do that. If I turn on that light, it should do nothing because the vacuum should be off. But when I turn the light back off, it should turn the vacuum on. Confusing? Hope not. It's just the nature of what the automation is. So let's go to Office. Basement, bedroom. Office. Turn on Mom's office lights. The lights behind me went on. Now when I turn them off, you hear a lot of noise because the vacuum pump should turn on. Maybe. Yeah, labels. I I have not used a label yet. That's the vacuum sealer switch. I might have the wrong one. Let's see. So this is the one I'm supposed to have. I might have the wrong one. Let's scroll back to the editor. Kill this. I think I took that. I took one switch out. I never got rid of it, basically. So let's come back to the editor. Actually, no. Well, I'll show you how I do this stuff. There is the UI, and then there is the I. Oh, automation. Here's the thing that we just made, right? So yeah, this is the wrong switch. Switch vacuum leader switch. So when you create the local blueprint, so this is the calling automation that sends the inputs to the automation and calls the automation. That's what this is. That's what we just created. Does it look familiar? Alias test PP, path. One input is the light. One input for the control is the switch. I had this as the wrong switch, so I just switched it here. Then I have to save it again. Command palette, reload automations. Now I can go back into my top end. Come down here to the office lights. Mom's office lights, turn them on. They went on behind me. Now if I turn them off, the vacuum should come on. It's my light. Well, it's supposed to work. Well, let's see what you do when it doesn't work. That's a good thing, I guess. Should have worked. No, I don't want that. I have to go into the automation editor and look at the traces. So I go into settings and I go to where are you? Automations right here. Test BP. Says it tried to run. I'm going to open this up and now we're going to look at a trace. Says it worked. Change variables. This gets easier as you go on, but if you see the trigger happened to on, from on to off for the amount of time. And that was happy. Step config, trigger, decision, what to do, the action, turn on the wrong switch. So it's still the wrong switch. So change it here. I don't know why it just came on. I just manually turned it off. But there it is. I got it, and I got it saved as the right switch now. Instead of the S40 switch, it's the other one. Whenever you save it like that, it will do the reload automations for you. So that's a nice thing about using the UI. One of the few nice things. Let's go back up to here. Let's see if it's working now. Mom office on and off. Must not be the right switch. I must have the light wrong. Let's just do this office track mom light. I'm gonna go into it, go over here, and it's light plug 3. So I'm gonna copy that. Get out of here. We're gonna go back into that. Automation. Automations. Edit. This one. Set a mom office. We're going to turn on that specific light instead of a group. Must be making it crazy. Click here. Save. I don't think I saved it before. Need this one. Okay, that seems okay. If you go up here into next to traces to the 3 dots, and you look at edit in YAML, you can actually see what's there. Okay, so that looks better. You can edit this too, but if you don't know YAML, it'll make it crazy, so don't. If you're new to YAML, use the UI editor. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just not where I grew up. And it's not where I live. So now let's try it again. See? But all these iterations were my inputs, right? Because I know the automation itself works. If I wasn't sure the automation works, I'm like, okay, well, am I triggering the right? Am I doing the trigger right? Do I have the syntax right on the template? You get all that out of your way by having the automation done first, and then later add the inputs. So let's go over here again. Confidence is high. Confidence is high. Mom office light. Let's turn it on. Let's turn it off. No. Office track mom. I don't know. You making me crazy. What can we try for a different light? That's not a light. I'm just trying for a different light. It's light that I know is a single light and not in a group. Live demos. Never do them. Well, unless you're a YouTuber. Here it is. Let's change this to cabinet. Cabinet light. I know where that one is. That's over on my desk. Trigger light. So, done. Saved. I think I'm just going to look at the automation and just make sure I didn't like mess something up I don't know about. So the blueprint is get one input, get two inputs. One's the domain light, one's the domain switch. They're singles, not multiples. Look at the light. Oh. Kaboom. Is anybody still there? Everything just dumped on me. All right. Glad you're still here. Yeah, I was not waiting the 2 minutes. I forgot what I wrote in the code. My browser blew up. So, hang on while I grab my shorts and pull them back up. All right. Yeah, my mouse just froze. Turned out it was this thing messing up. Let's go in. I'm actually going to add another input. Hey. And something else. So, back in the code, we are going to add something that's kind of cool. This was added a while back to the input section. So let's go. Let's take off these, Control/. Control/. Shift tab. And then we're going to shift all these over. Tab. So what I'm adding here is something sort of advanced-ish. Yeah, but it is allowed. Oh, I need to put input there. Come on. Tab. So, interesting enough, you can now make inputs hidden if they're not required and stuff like that. It makes the input for the user a lot better. So I'll show you what's happening in a minute. Change if you want to. Okay. True. Description. So I made 2 tiers of inputs now. I'm going to add it. Tab. So I'm going to add an input for time. And I need a number input, so I'm just going to copy one from somewhere. Person doesn't have it. Humidifier has numbers. Remember, I'm the one without the memory here. Sensor. Yes, that doesn't have a number. Stuff a number. Binary sensor. That's just not that much different, is it? Options. Text. Pretty much the same as I'm just going to make sure. Hang with me, guys. You will find that, Omar, you will find that the 32s are going to be much better. I'm having so much trouble with 8266s. They get lost. And they don't respond to anything until you power them down, power them back on. They make me crazy. So, number selector. Number min max. All right. Tab, 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 tab. Tab, 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 tab. 0 maximum 100, so we don't care. I don't care what this is right now. Oh. Oops. I'm editing something I shouldn't. Go back. Don't do that. There. Now let's get to the right page. Yeah, it is a miracle. Totally agree, Omar. Shift tab, default. 2. All right. So what did I do? I gave us another input, but I have 2 tiers of inputs now. Now this input, did I give it a name? I did not. Tea time. We'll call it tea time. Time for tea. Delay time. Or dwell time, I call it. Dwell time. And so there I have a second level input. Save automations, command palette, reload automations. Oh, now I got to put this in here, right? So I'm going to do 4. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Let's say input. No. Let's both triggers for wait, it looks better. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's see. Copy. Control V. All right. So now what's going to happen is it could be allowed to. Yeah, I got it right. Now what's going to happen is you're going to be allowed to put in a time in minutes. I should say in minutes. Right? How long you want the light to stay? So if you flash the lights on and off, you don't want this thing coming on and off. So that's what that's for. Right. So go command palette and reload automations. That should be there. Now let's go back into our, let's just do the thing. Do the thing. Back into automations. Find my test BP. And now, see, I have tiers. I have some inputs that are required. So every time I want to make sure that they see these and they put something in those, because those are going to be blank. If they try to run it with these blank, it's going to break. It won't work. But there's one down here for time. I know it's down there, but the user maybe doesn't care. They probably aren't going to change the time. Maybe 2 minutes is fine. It'll work, right? But click here. Now I can see dwell time. It's currently set to 2 minutes. I can set it to, 100 minutes. I can set it to 0, which is what I'm going to set it to now, so we can do a test better. All that, well, I wanted to show you how to do the tiered inputs, but all that just so that it would work better. So let me do a save. But here it's not so bad, right? When you get to, I'll bring up one of the cube ones later. There are hundreds of lines of inputs. You don't want to look at it all. You can't look at it all. It was making people crazy. They came up with this, and it's just awesome for huge blueprints like that. Anyway, that should be up. That should be live. It was saved. Let's go back up here. Here's the cabinet light. Turn it on. Nothing should happen because normally when the light's on, the other switch is off. Now when I turn this off, we should hear the vacuum pump start. I need some animations. Now when I turn this the other way, that will turn off. Two completely separate things in completely different parts of the house, and they run triggered one off the other, and it's done with a blueprint. And if you want to do a second one, you just use the same blueprint, give the new automation a new name, put in new parameters, and that same blueprint will run 2 things, or in Omar's case, 40 things. That's how that works. So let's take a look at I believe it would be much better. And you could track it. Another thing to look at, Omar, which I do, but you might need to, if you've got templates in those, and especially if you have some templates that are like the same in every automation or even in every blueprint, you can macro templates. It's really powerful. What I want to look at now is, let's go to, oh, it crashed. Let's go to GitHub though. We don't have to go to GitHub. We can do it right here. Right here. Let's look at not that one. This one. I want to hide this. So this, and you'll see some errors in here. I haven't cleaned these up from the last fix, but they're not really errors. They're just legacy stuff. This is, let's just kind of scroll through it. There, better way. Check that, better idea. Let's pretend to make a new thing here. Let's go into automations, create an automation, and let's go into that. This is the blueprint I was just in. Let's go into this blueprint. And you'll see what I mean about how it can be complicated and how that the tiers thing makes it better. I tend to put a lot of words in the descriptions and into help files for my blueprints because people are overwhelmed and they need a reference to go back and look to. Then every time somebody over the years has had problems, like I can't figure this out. Where is this? I don't know how to do it. I take care of the customer. I figure out their problem, and then I drive it to a root cause. And if it's documentation, I add documentation. If it's code, I add code. I drive it to some place where I figure if one person has a problem, multiple people are bound to have a problem. If I fix it, maybe I stop that. And I'm to the point now where I get very few questions about my blueprints, and I am proud of that. You look at some of them, like there's a thermostat one out there. The forum post for the thermostat has 2,000 or almost 3,000 posts, because every day it gets 30 posts for people who are having trouble. I don't believe in that. So here's all this is still help, right? Now you get down here. Now here, optional. So required input. So required input has to pop up. So in this case, you must tell the blueprint what the topic is, the MQTT topic for your cube, so it can find the cube. That's the one thing it has to do. All right. Then it goes into optional conditions. There's a multiple of optional conditions here. And you notice there still is no inputs here, but you have all these groups of actions that can happen. So let's just pick one in the middle. Group 4 actions, only use once, no side. Boom, do here. And now we get into questions, right? So there's questions for that one. There's questions for this one. But you can see, originally, before we had that group thing going on, this, I mean, the automation, this blueprint looked like this. And people were like, WTF, man, what the heck are you doing? I have no idea what's going on, right? I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. There's, I don't know, 60 of these inputs or so. And the reason there are so many is because every action that you can do with this, you can then tell this blueprint what you want that to do, right? So let's get out of this, leave the editor, so I don't want to save any of that. And I'm going to come into one of these that I have that's working, that has data. Anybody sing a song for me? I would buy it. I'm sure I would buy it. Okay, let's just look at Pro. There we go. Here is a blueprint, a calling automation for this blueprint. So this has some stuff in it that's being done. And this is the same one we just looked at. Same blueprint. There's my topic, which had to be in there. And are they all hidden? They're all hidden. Well, these... No, these are all... Let's see. What does it say? Oh, yeah. No. I add some text in here like face one up. Face one is the side with the Acquire logo. So it's with this cube. And you find the Acquire logo. And that's side one. So, I mean, I try to orient people, right? I'm going to find an action that's in here. I thought maybe it would kind of pop them up if there was... I never looked at them in here, actually. This is so annoying. Here's one. Here's an action. So long, short, toggle, for, magic cube, and other things. So what this script is that I'm calling here, and I have a number of these scripts, and they're in the documentation, right? This particular script is, you have this cube on the table, and you give it a, and you have side 6 up, face 6 up. I rotate counterclockwise a little bit, then it will do one thing. If I go counterclockwise a lot, it will do another thing. So short, long. Come over here and look. Visual editor isn't supported because this is, I have this out of the thing, but this passes, you give this thing some data that's passed to the script, and the script handles it in the background, comes back in. You could do all the coding in here too if you want. This is the UI editor. You can make this stuff up all in here, but I have a number of scripts. I got one for volume control up and down, light brightness up and down, this short and long press. There's more. But I have a bunch of things like that pre-made for you. So you can then take that script, drop it somewhere, know the name of it that you called it, come into this blueprint for the cube, and call the script, send it the data that it needs, and it'll just do its thing. But that's why there's so many questions in this blueprint, is because every action, every side up has a clockwise, counterclockwise slide, right? There is a shake command. This one has a throw command where you just go like that. The other cube has a drop command. So there's all these commands, right? And then there's the flips. There's a flip one side over, and then there's a flip 180, and you can do that any direction. The Pro Cube has numbers on it, which helps you orient yourself. The other cube does not, so I put words on it. Anyway, that's the cube. Let's just then look at the list. I'm going to have to get into GitHub. And I'd like to finish up in about 5 minutes. Yeah, you could run the whole house. The problem is you can't see what's happening. And actually the biggest problem with the cube is, yeah, there's 120 actions. How the hell are you going to remember what they are? You have to have a map. So I found a trick too, which adds more. If you have a cube and you have it on a soft surface, if you have it on a hard surface, you go like that, it almost always registers the tip, right? If you have it on a soft surface and you go slowly and go like that, it will now be on side 3, came from side 4. But you can then go through the thing, and you can, I have some instructions in there, but that can be like a secret code. But it's a way to do a secret code. You say, okay, if I have side 4 up and I slowly turn it to side 3 up, which is I'll cross the other side, and then give it a clockwise and then tap it. So you can see where I'm going there. There's like 100 of them, but then you keep adding because you can make consecutive multiple actions depend on each other. Yeah. Give one to your parrot. Anyway. Let me try to get up to GitHub. I'll give you a kind of a list of my blueprints. Oh, good. I'm still signed in. My Blueprint directory. Here's my Blueprint directory. You want to go in and take a look? There we go. And the README for the main part of the directory is got all this stuff in it. It's basically a list of what's in there, right? If you want support, here's how. My other links, support me. Then I have a blueprint that helps with broadlink and doing delays and stuff in between. So you want to take a broadlink, or push a button on your thing and have a broadlink RM3 or RM4. Push that button, do a delay, push another button, do a delay, push another button, do a delay. Scripted basically action so that like turn on my TV and that's what I use it for, and turn off my TV or turn it on to Amazon mode. So this has a series of actions and delays, and you can pick all the parameters for all of it. So that's what that one does. Tasmota easy button. This one, you have one button, you push the button, 3 minutes, all your Tasmotas are updated. Bloop. There's also, you can upgrade selected ones. So what I do is I have like one of each, right? I have an RF bridge and a switch and a light and all this. And I push the selected upgrade, and it'll upgrade just those. And if one of them F's up, I know, okay, well, I can't update the whole thing. Go figure out what's going on. And then I can push the button and update them all. Because you can imagine if something goes bad when you update them all, it's all bad. And there's a restart button. And I use the restart button from this blueprint every time I boot. It resets all the Tasmota devices, so all the numbers are fresh when it comes up. And it comes up then a lot sooner than the default 5-minute wait. Otherwise, you get 5 minutes of I'm broken on the screen. I don't like that. So within 20 seconds of boot, while it's booting, it does the Tasmota resets them all. Hello, there we go. And you'll notice each of these, there is a help file and there's a code file. The code file is the actual blueprint, and the help file is a markdown. Starts with the changelog. It says everything I can, like I said, everything I've had customers have problems with, everything I can think of, it should be in here. And if there's something missing, we could fix it. How to do it, what the input fields are, what they're doing, extended information for more, you want to know more, generating buttons, other ideas, troubleshooting, etc. And this is a short one. Like that one for the cube is very long. And there's actually 4 for the cubes. There's the new cube for Z2M. There's the old cube for Z2M. And there's the both cubes, since the new cube doesn't have a quirk. But the ZHA there's one cube once for ZHA. Play media script. This is a script blueprint, and you feed it a audio file or something, MP3, that's saved on your computer or someplace that your home assistant can get to. It'll play it. And it works for, it's supposed to work for all the players. All the players I could figure out. Here's one for messages. It does the same thing. Now, you're saying, well, okay, I can just do that in code. Well, when it's a blueprint and you want a message for, okay, somebody's at the door, you can go in and code it every time. Or you can make a blueprint, store it, and then you just call the script. So When somebody pushes my button, it goes to the blueprint, plays a script that says, hey, somebody's at the door. And then all of my scripts for TTS and for MP3 playing, or playing audio files like funny things to add to TTSs, they're all in one place. They're all right there. And they're all run out of 2 blueprints. So a code change in a blueprint will just fix up the whole shit. So it makes it nicely consolidated. And here's, remember I said I had a list of other blueprints that can be called from other things. These are scripts, actually, script blueprints. Changing the color. That's how I do it with my Magic Cube. Dimming lights, long, short toggle. I kind of explained that. Volume control and device reset. Turn something off and then turn it back on, which is used for some other things like my device reset stuff. Yeah, see, you repeat it all those times. Why? You put it in one place. It's nice. And even if you roll your own blueprint to do it. I have one for fan control. What this fan control does, I made the automation to run my bedroom, and I said, well, let's just make a blueprint for it. It monitors the temperature in the room, and if it's too warm, it turns on the fan. If it's really too warm, it turns on the fan faster. And if it's really hot, it turns on the fan real fast. It's meant to work alongside an air conditioner. So there's some hysteresis stuff in there. You can turn the air conditioner on and off. And on this one, there is a block of code in the beginning and in the end. A lot of these there is, where it's like, okay, dude, you want to do something weird? Here's a block of code that there's an action. You can make your own action. Do whatever the hell you want, and do it before and do it after, or do something else after. So in other words, this auto fan one, if every time the fan comes on, I wanted to call the blueprint that says, hey, I turned your fan on, it could call that script blueprint and do it. So I made it so the user can plug in anything they want. And you know how much that saves? And people says, well, can you make it do this? Can you make it do that? You know what? Yes, you can make it do this. You can make it do that. I don't have to change my code. Door open. So the door is open. It can be open for so long. If it's open too long, it starts complaining. When you close it, it shuts up. Key lock puzzle. This is a good one. I have a lock on my back front door, right? But it's a lock I made, so it doesn't have a combination. So from the outside, it's just a cylinder lock, electric cylinder lock. On the outside, you got no control. You got nothing. But if you want to get in, you need to get control. So I made this blueprint, and it's set for 5 inputs. It can be 5 inputs of any kind. Turning on a light, pushing a button on a pad, opening and closing another door. Anything that Home Assistant can see, you can put these in there. And you will have to do them in the right order. If you do them in the right order, then it will unlock the door or do whatever you want at the end. So I have a keypad, and I have 5 key presses that I put in. If I put them in the right order, in the right time, then the door opens. But you could use this for an escape house, right? That's what I always wanted somebody to take this and make an escape house thing out of it. You have to open this drawer, then you got to turn on this light, and then you have to, push a buzzer. Then you have to turn that light off, and then you have to knock 3 times on your Magic Cube, and then you're, that's where my mind was going. But as far as a lock, it's effective. Nobody knows what the hell to do with that. There's a keypad there. They can push on it forever and they'll never figure it out. And here's the cube ones. Device tracker. So you could put in zones. When somebody enters a zone, it can tell you. When they leave a zone, it can tell you. If they enter one zone and enter another zone, it'll tell you. But I have it set so that if they enter or leave a zone from just moving, it just says, I left the zone, right? If they enter one zone and enter another one that it knows about, it says, I left the zone and entered another one. I have this set for my phone and my wife's phone. So whenever either of us are out, we kind of know where the other one is. We don't even have to look or check. And the house just says, Yeti. Well, the grandkids call my wife Yeti, Grandma Yeti. So Yeti is at Katie's closet, or Yeti is at the feed store, or whatever. And I just know where she is. I don't even have to look. It's just comforting. So we use that. There's another cube one. Water throttle control. I have a humidifier that just has a valve. And if you leave it up to the humidistat, when it's dry, it turns on. The water runs in, and 90% of the water goes back down the drain because you can't make the water slow, and it can't make the water drip because then it stops. So what this does is it sets it, it's pulse width modulated, basically, if you think about it. Depending on how dry it is. If it's real dry, it'll run longer. If it's less dry, it'll run less. You have to use a Sonoff with this because half of the code is in Sonoff rules. I imagine you could Arduino it. I don't know. I don't have the Arduino code. I have this on a Sonoff SV, and I got the rules in there for you. So depending on how much error there is, it makes it run longer, and if it's close, it makes it run real short. Person alert. Oh, this is the enter or leave one. What's the other one? That's the enter or leave one. I forget sometimes. We're open. What was that? Well, there's one in here for devices. It must have been the other one I looked at before. Device tracker monitor. Oh yeah, this one. I have some devices that tend to just go offline and go away. If they're ones that I can reset, okay, you can't reset them, right? So some of I don't have them on Sonoff. I have them on some Mocha boxes, actually. So what this does is it watches device tracker. If the thing goes away for so long, it then goes and pokes the switch. I put a Zigbee or a Z-Wave switch on the thing. It turns it off. Waits 2 minutes, turns it on, and waits some time and checks again, see if it's on. And there's 4 levels. It gives us 4 tries, and after that, it just calls home and says it's broken. But you can do up to 4 different things in order to try to get this thing to come back by itself. So it goes offline, notices it, waits some time, turns it off, turns it back on, waits some time, see if it's there. And if it's there, it says, okay, I'm done. If it's not, it complains. So that's what this device tracker one does. The person one here is the one I said where people are going in and out of zones. And stage 1 temperature control. If you have Octoprint on your 3D printer and you use the MQTT stack from Octoprint's extensions, this is an extension I added to that. It has a presentation button, bring the print out for you. It has a load the filament, it has an unload the filament, and it has a safe shutoff. So when the nozzle gets down to a certain temperature, it'll just shut the printer off, assuming you have a smart plug in there. Yeah. But so that's what the Octoprint one is. The Octoprint one is The only thing you have to add to it is, I think, how to connect to it. And there's optionals for, there's two open things where you can roll your own Octoprint G-code thing to make it do something. So it's all done by MQTT Discovery Topics. That one was a fun one to do. Those are my things. I went a little longer than I wanted to. Anybody have any questions? How many people are online? Let me look. Still have 2 people, 3 sometimes. So I'm guessing Omar and Chris. Is that who's on here? I'm gonna assume that's who it is. Omar. Last time I did a stream, Chris got stickers. Would you like a sticker, my friend? Ping me on a, 1, 2, 3 dupes. Hey, both of you guys, if you get a hold of me on, give me a DM or an email, I'll give you one of my little stickers. How's that? I have, these are made up by Sticker Mule. This is my little dancing guy. So, the 2 of you are the only ones eligible because you're the only ones here at the end of the stream. If you would like me to send you some stickers, I need your address. A DM on Discord is the best. You can send me an email. That'll work too. Other than that, I think we're about done. You can DM me on Discord, and the links are in my stuff. There's a link in the description here, I believe. I can check. I think it is. Discord link. Yeah, that's a link to my Discord. I am Sir Good Enough on there. Or just go on there and say, hey. Let's see. Oh, that Discord account number is probably wrong because they changed the names. I'll have to fix that. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, 1, 2, 3. I'll send you stickers. Any other questions for me? Anything you want to know? Otherwise, we're going to wrap up the 8th stream of Christmas. 9, 10, 11, 12 left, which means Friday and Saturday are more doing pixel things with the pixel heads. I will be on those, hosting them for them. We'll be on DrZz's channel, though, so watch for it on DrZz's channel. Then there's another DrZz stream after that. And then if Creative is feeling up to it, he's going to try to stream. Otherwise, if he can't, one of us will take over that spot. So the list of all the streams, times, and dates that they're scheduled is in the description. You can get it in there. And don't forget, if you missed the beginning, there is a camera in there that Rudy is selling. This is for in a car. There's a dash camera. You could probably use it for anything else. It does run on 12 volts. It does save stuff to its card, or it will stream to your phone or whatever. $18 with the code. Not bad. Comes from China, but comes from Rudy. If you're interested, I don't get anything out of it directly, but I want to see how many I can sell for Rudy. All right. Thanks. And I always try to come up with something funky for the end of my videos. So let me see. And remember, if you're writing a blueprint, always look for errors. And remember, if you're looking for a camera, you can find one from Rudy. Oh, is that bad? All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.